family, welcome back. I'm here to talk about the non-scale victories. I thought when I would come back I was going to talk about the scale, but I think the non-scale victories are more important because the scale doesn't tell the whole story. Sometimes it tells a false story. And so I want to focus on the non-scale victories. I don't know if I'm going to focus on one or put everything together. But the first thing I wanted to talk about was euphoria. The very first time that I did the 86, my first fast was on May 20th, and I did 86 hours, 86 whole hours. And I remember waking up, and when I woke up, I felt a state of, I just felt so incredibly good. It's really, really hard to quantify in words. And just this morning, now this is why I brought this up. This is why I'm talking about this. Just this morning, I woke up, I felt good, I felt light, and my next thought was to get some exercise, start working out. And this was what was so interesting that I noticed. I had that get up and go. And for a long time, it's been years, I've been having this feeling like everything is an effort. Like if I want to exercise, like, oh my God, I don't feel like this, and I'm trying to push myself. And for several years now, I've been wondering, where is that get up and go? Where is that pep, that zest, that gusto for life? Where is it? I remember having it when I was like 13 or 14. And as time went on, everything was such an effort. And you get this one tells you get this pill, and this one tells you get that vitamin, and none of it really does anything for you. And just today, that feeling, that same spring feeling was there. And so this is an amazing benefit. It may not be the most glamorous benefit, but it's a major benefit, because when you don't have that enthusiasm, when everything is an effort, you don't do things. You don't want to do things, or it makes life so burdensome. Fasting might be the elixir. That might be what it is that we need to get out of that blah feeling, and no pill can do that. See, we're not told the things that are free. We're told the things that puts money in other people's pockets and still gets us no results. And I just had that particular feeling just this morning. And that's why I'm more inspired to fast, because I'm still in the early stages. This is still the beginning for me. More will be revealed. And so I just wanted to share that with you. That is one of the non-scale victories that I have gotten as a result of fasting. There is nothing as great as just having a zest for life and not being so burdened by everything. The next non-scale victory I've experienced since fasting is much less hunger and much less food obsession. Part of the reason that I decided to go into fasting was that I was informed by both healthcare workers, scientists, and even religious factors that one way to break food obsession was through fasting. That was important because food obsession sabotaged all my hard work. There was always this constant lingering of food. You're most of the time white knuckling it, most of the time just abstaining, but really fiending for food in the back of your head. And eventually that goes only but so far. You're back eating again, and all the weight comes back and all the consequences that come with it. But since I started fasting, it's broken down a lot of food obsessions. For instance, I'll give you a great example. If I'm ever around a candy machine, I have to go get something in there. Now I can look right at a candy machine. I can sit right in front of it. Doesn't faze me. I have no interest. Another thing that I wanted to get rid of was going to restaurants, using restaurants as a form of a pastime. Sometimes it was about the food, other times it wasn't really about the food. It was just my way of exciting myself. And now I have absolutely no desire whatsoever to go to restaurants. I like that. I don't want my pastimes and recreation to be centered around food. I don't have that. And fasting now, it's becoming part and parcel of me. It's nothing for me to like go a whole day without eating. I like that. I want that. I'm not concerned about what other people think, what this whole idea of what we've been taught as real eating. I've observed a lot of people who maintain health and strength and they're not eating 3 times a day. Sometimes they're not even eating for a day. That's the lifestyle. Personally, for me, I'm not telling anybody else what to do. We're all free entities. We can do as we please. But this is what I want for myself. And it's now, I'm not obsessing over food. I love that. That is so empowering. Not only does it help my health, not only am I not ingesting poisonous stuff against my will, but I don't feel a slave to food. That is one of the greatest feelings to have. And that's one of the things that a scale can never tell you, but you experience it, and eventually it will show on the scales. So this is one of the great benefits and victories of fasting. A third benefit that I've experienced, and this is really extremely important, is the shrinking of fatty deposits, stubborn fatty deposits. And what's so noteworthy about this is that I didn't experience this with the traditional diet and exercises for months and months and months. I couldn't understand, even with weight loss, why there were still parts of my body, for instance, the so-called love handles, saddlebags, that I would, I'm exercising, I feel I'm eating the right way as far as I know, and still not seeing a change. But upon fasting, I'm noticing that a lot of those fatty deposits that are very hard to get rid of, they're shrinking away. They're getting smaller and smaller and getting less visible. I listened to a podcaster years ago, and she talked about something called exogenous. I think exogenous fat. It's like maybe poisons we get from plastics that are very. They say that tend to be resistant to diet and exercise. So I believe that this is my theory or hypothesis, that this is where maybe autophagy comes in and gets in and cleans out all that the dead cells, the dead matter, the stuff that we just can't get to. And then it also gives a chance, if you think about it, common sense. It really doesn't even need all that scientific so-called expertise. But when you're not putting junk, when we're not putting stuff in the body, then the body works with what it has, and I guess it gets rid of that. So this was, really, this was really moving, because it's so perplexing when you're doing everything and you're not seeing a change, and then finally you are. So this is another added benefit if you're having difficulty. Um, well, let me say this. I don't want to make a suggestion. I'm just sharing my journey, but this has been I've seen changes since fasting that I never saw with exercise or diet. The last thing that I want to touch on in this video is sleep. I'm noticing my sleep patterns as I fast. They're starting to improve. They're not 100% there yet, but I'm finding myself, like, prior to this, I've been staying awake a lot. I sleep during the day though, but I would be awake a lot. Now, that also could be spending excessive time on these electronic equipments. The light, they say, that disrupts our sleep patterns. It affects our circadian rhythm. So that definitely could play a role, and that's going to be my next fasting off of social media and electronics. But I've noticed that since starting to fast, I'm finding myself starting to fall back asleep sleeping longer and getting up later, getting up at the usual times that I like to get up. So these are the benefits that I have experienced thus far. I'm still early in my journey. There's a lot that I have to learn. I'm really excited about what I'm going to discover. I'm just sharing my path, you know. This is not medical advice, it's just what I've experienced, and we talk about things so that we learn. We learn from each other, and that's what I want to share. So, if you are fasting, new to it, experiencing it, what have you experienced? What did you learn? What are your discoveries? Please comment and like and subscribe and share to other people. It's really exciting to just learn from others and to find that other people have learned from you. Have a great evening.